Good morning. This is May 21st, 2024. You've joined the Kubeflow community meeting. This meeting is being recorded and it is governed by the Kubeflow Code of Conduct. We'll have an agenda that we'll follow here today. The first item on the agenda is the release update. I'm not sure, do we have anyone that can provide an update of where we are with the release? Is Stefano here or anybody from the release team?
Well, I'm pretty sure that I'm still the main one blocking it. So I've made a lot of progress on the 1.9 release for Kubeflow notebooks, but it's not quite ready yet, considering I'm the only one working on it. But anyway.
Yeah, regarding the 1.9 release from the manifest perspective, I think, yeah, as Matthew said, except for that, I think we still have to update Istio. We have updated most other components and maybe fix a bug here and there, but I think in general we are on track to release the RC1 probably in the next 2 weeks or so.
So you'll need to sync from my RC0 as well. You'll need to resync the upstream Kubeflow manifests.
I definitely need to get the manifest in, whether it's from Kubeflow/notebooks or Kubeflow/Kubeflow.
Oh, no, so it won't be from notebooks. It'll be from Kubeflow still.
Okay, yeah. I have to create a PR, synchronize, then check whether the tests are successful and so on.
And this is Alex from Kubo. I tested 1.90 RC0 in Kubo. It worked out apart from the 2 comments I wrote, but that was changes you did. So at least from the manifest, everything worked as expected in Kubo.
So also, as a quick side note to everyone who's a distribution, if you're not customizing the dashboard will actually be has been quite updated. That's one of the major updates that we've done on the notebooks working group, just because it was really, really old. Like it was running Node.js 12.
Oh, wow. So come again on that. So do we need to do any change? Is that what you're saying?
So you probably will if you had customized the dashboard at all, but some people weren't customizing it, so it doesn't matter.
I haven't customized the dashboard.
Then you'll be fine.
Okay, perfect.
And also regarding the RC1, a lot of stuff was missing. For example, Istio Knative Cert Manager, so a lot of base dependencies, which means please also test RC1 because it's still a massive difference, and only in RC2 and 3 and so on, there will probably be minor changes.
So I just want to say that there are a little bit of the user-facing experience will actually be quite a significant change on the dashboard. That's what I'm trying to say. So there's a few bugs that have been fixed. The sidebar has been rearranged slightly. Notably, Kubeflow Pipelines now has its own section on the sidebar because there's just so many links.
Yeah, just a quick update from Kubo. I will add for this version just one click install with the logo of Kubeflow in Kubo. So basically you click on it, it will install everything in one click. So that's my goal for this release.
And yes, another thing that's changed is the manage contributors page will now let you manage multiple namespaces.
Nice.
And you can also see, while we don't have a UI for it, you can also see people who are viewers of your namespace because you can make viewer accounts. You've always been able to do it, but it's just never been in the UI. It still isn't in the UI, but it's now visually represented. Anyway.
Is there any plan to add a Let's Encrypt, or you're expecting the distribution to take care of that?
That is 100% a distribution or a user thing. That's a user thing, really, more than anything else.
I'll add it on myself because I was planning to add it just in case you have something in the roadmap, so there's no point for me to add it. But yeah, so I'll take care of that part.
It's too user specific, right? Some users don't have
100%.
Let's Encrypt, some do, some,
Yeah.
Alex, do you have any form of test plan that you run when you bring up Kubeflow? Do you try to go into like each of the components?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I wanted to talk about this. So right now, what I do is I see the components you advertise as the version. So I run a command that shows all the components, make sure all these components are up and running based on the components you released, like the version. That's a kube CTL command. But I wanted to start building, if you don't mind, a Sonoboy testing. At least it shows the version and run a CUDA addition, at least in one of the in a notebook. So that will be as far as I wanted to do the test. So basically, check all the components and the versions, and run a CUDA test with Sonoboy. So I wanted to write that for Kubo. I don't know if that's interesting to anyone who wants to use it, but that's what I'm doing as far. And also what I do is I spin up a full instance and make sure I have access to it. The UI is working, and from the UI I create this test. That's the test I'm doing so far.
Fantastic. Well, you get the award for the most work on 1.9 testing so far that I've heard.
Well, I reused a lot of what I had before, so it wasn't that hard. But I'd like to do that testing with Sonoboy. What do you think, guys? You think it's a good idea if I start writing something for that? At least to see the component versions based on a template we have, and also the CUDA vector addition. Is that something that you think is useful or not?
Or any of the
I mean,
other
on a distribution level, yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Julius.
Yeah, I mean, on a distribution level, of course, it makes sense. We also revamped a lot of the integration testing in the manifest repository. So maybe it makes sense to take a look, because you can do most of that stuff now in an automated manner with token-based authentication and so on.
Got it. Can you post that link in the chat where that is, the test from the manifest? Maybe I can run them as well.
Yeah, just the repository Kubeflow/manifest, and then all the GitHub workflows.
GitHub work. Okay, got it. Okay, let me try that first.
So there was also one other thing that we needed to have ready, which was the model endpoints API thingy for Kserve. Did we ever get that fixed?
It's still ongoing. I think Dan Sun offered to help there, and yeah, Ricardo is driving it, but he's on vacation, and yeah, just check out the release channel. I think there's the discussion.
Also, do we have the Spark operator, or
Spark operator didn't make it for this release. Model registry will be at least in a preview version available. I'm not sure whether it's going to be enabled by default, but at least with the manifest are synchronized. And yeah, Spark operator, that's for 1.10.
okay, cool. Josh, we can probably move on since the release people on here.
All right, let's talk about Google Summer of Code updates. Anybody got something on this?
Josh, I'm here today. This is Ramesh Reddy.
Hey.
Hey, sorry I couldn't attend last couple times and to give you an update on this. But just wanted to make sure, since most of the mentors are here today, that everybody made contacts with your mentees and have set up the regular weekly meetings, or like the onboarding tasks. Have you gone through, or anybody is still waiting on it? I want to make sure that has happened. And yeah, I mean, I think from the last, I'm seeing the meeting notes from last week. Matthew, thank you. You have the time for posting the timeline. There is a couple new things that came up that I will be following up. One is there is a mentor stipend that Josh, I mentioned on the channel with you and a couple others. There's a stipend that GSOC provides for the mentors itself, and we are looking into how we don't have a treasury department with the Kubeflow, but we are looking into how we can use CNCF for that. And not much details yet on it, but if we figure it out how we can get those funds from Google into CNCF organization. We are going to look into getting those. Otherwise, I probably have to decline the payment and go forward with that. But that answer is, I need that. I need to give that answer to Google Summer of Code folks by this Wednesday. So we will be doing that. The second one that is coming up pretty soon is also there is something called Mentor Summit. And I think it's in San Francisco, I believe. I have some details on it. Only one mentor gets a stipend, about $1,200 to go to that summit. I believe this is sometime in October. I'll check the dates and but if anybody is interested, please reach out to me. If there are multiple people, we need to figure out how we can select that which mentor goes to it.
So yeah, I definitely only one can go.
Yeah, definitely one can go. There is a possibility that they may allow a second one, but even when that's only by very invitation only kind of a thing. One is guaranteed, second one is very subjective. And the second one only gets a $700 stipend if they get to be selected. So we can ask for a second one, but there is no guarantee on it.
I'm pretty sure the train costs less than $700 for the people who are in the bay.
I mean, if they are there, I mean, if they are already in the same city, that's fine. That one, right? If somebody is traveling from, let's say, another country or something, then even $1,200 is probably not enough. But that's an incentive. It's probably a great experience. I never been there, but folks who went there said that it's good. So.
Well, my vote is that you get to go as our one if you're a mentor. Are you a mentor?
I signed up as a mentor, but I put in my name, Matthew, just because on one of the projects nobody signed up as a mentor by the time I wanted to submit it. So just to capture this slot, I put my name as a mentor, but I'm not really a mentor.
Oh, okay.
So, but I wanna, actually the hard work is being done by you guys. So I wanna reward, I don't mind. I don't want to go. I want to really offer that to you guys. One of them. Yeah, let's. I'll send some text on it on the our chat Slack channel, and then we can figure it out that one. But my right now my immediate one is the mentor stipend, and I want to make sure, even if we are not getting stipend, that's fine. Don't worry about that. We'll let it go. But making sure that all the mentees are in touch with the mentors, and there are no. I mean, we have communicated in terms of what our expectations is, and what they are working on, what they are working towards, and having them, getting them engaged with the program, and making sure that they are happy in terms of providing, and we are giving the right level of mentorship to them.
Okay, good update. Any questions from anybody on this one?
So we just definitely need to confirm. I don't know how we can do it, Ramesh. How like that everyone has. How do we we need to get almost an okay from each project. I think, right? That they have both assigned a primary mentor and they've set up a meeting, right?
Primary mentor should be done already, because
Have you done it though?
We asked in that.
We should get it on paper who's the primary mentor, because otherwise we don't know who to chase up.
Okay, right. I think I have said that in the not the Excel, the Google sheet. I sent it around while the day after we got selected, right? If it is not, then I will go back and let's see. I'll make sure I'll ping each and every one of you in that case to make sure that they know that they are the primary mentor. I hope everybody knows by now who is the, you are the primary mentor on the projects. But I'll double check. I'll ping you guys offline in that case. Is that good?
There was a lot of mentors for some of the projects, so I was just a little bit worried.
I know, but we at least some projects, we have given, like the projects 4 to 7. I think Andre and there are a few others were there, and we said that they are going to come up with each one. They are going to come up with a mentor for the in those 4 different projects, and they are going to contact the mentee. So we had the verbal agreement there, and let's see if we have gone through that exercise, and we are ready to hit the ready to start having the conversations with mentees to start the work. All right, I'll take as an action item on that one, Matthew.
Ramesh, just a quick question. Thank you for this. I just pinged you on CNCF Slack. I just because probably I pinged some folks from CNCF who can help us for treasury account maybe today. So please reply me, and also I will let you, maybe Josh, in this thread, so they can escalate it maybe as fast as they can to help us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, yes, if a mentor, as a side note, you can kick people out of the program, but there is a deadline to do that.
Right, that is true.
So if someone is not attending any meetings, is ignoring you, or is a psychopath or something, you have to start that process early.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I've been stressing. Have you made contact with the your mentee? Have you had meetings with them? They are doing the community bonding, with the expectations we have set forward. All those things.
I think this is great, Ramesh. Thank you for the information. How can I reach out to you for getting more details about the mentorship?
So this program's already underway, so you'd have to wait until next year, or if you find someone in the community who wants to mentor you, I guess you could do that too, but that's a separate thing.
All right.
Yeah, if you want to do mentor somebody, Chandu, I would say is, there is a GSOC participants Slack channel. You can come there and say, there were a lot of people out of 200 odd people. We got like 60 plus proposals.
Okay.
We only got selected, we only been allocated 9 proposals out of it.
Oh,
so there are a lot of students who really wants to contribute to it, but they may be still looking for some mentor saying that, hey, I'm expert in this area. If you want to contribute, here is something I can help you mentor. And there may be few people who can raise their hands. And I did find few people like that, when I submitted the model registry. So, but let's go ahead and do that and see. Yeah,
definitely. I am already in Slack channel. So I will follow the channel. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Any other questions?
We should probably move on, but yeah, Josh.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's talk about the model registry. Who's got this one?
Hey Josh, Matteo for the Model Registry Working Group here. I wanted to say a very quick chance to thank everybody who had made some feedback and reviews for the website pull request that was open for a while now. The reason why I'm mentioning this in this agenda item is that I would like to have the focus of a little bit of the community leads here. From my understanding, this is now moving into a stage where this is one of the items that were required from us for the release team. So my suggestion, as I marked in the pull request, is that I've taken notes that there are 3 main items that I think can be worked in parallel. One is the additional diagrams in the introduction chapters. One is also about potentially installing model registry separately from Kubeflow, so just in a vanilla Kubernetes. And then there was other comments about integration with other components. My suggestion here, if the community agrees, is to request that these pull requests may be merged at the earliest chance possible. And then I'm happy to sort of like parallelize these other works as a refinement later. The only reason I mentioned that is that this is, if I understand the comment from Stefano, is that this is coming now to a stage where this will be likely required for the 1.9 deliverables. So if there are no kind of like vetoes or hard comments or hard change requested, this is just a request for these to be merged so that we can move on and iterate progressively, potentially kind of like getting this work done from multiple angles at the same time. And that will be all from model registry. Thank you.
So is it, to be clear, is the model registry currently available to install for random people?
Yeah, because it's like the manifests are available already in the repo. So following the instruction that is in a specific chapter in that pull request, you should be able to replicate to install it actually everywhere.
And I mean, as a complete side note, did you add it to the homepage as well, or do you want to add a card to the homepage? I mean, we don't really have. It will look a bit messy without two other cards, but
Sorry, which card are you referring to, please?
so like on the homepage, we have a list of all of the components.
Yeah, it's in the breakdown on the side menu, basically on the left.
That's true as well, but we like have an actual like if it's just something to think about. On the Kubeflow.com, when you go to Kubeflow.com itself, like the front page has a list of all the components as well.
Okay, I see. It's like I never scrolled down.
So you don't have to do it straight away, but like since especially we can probably do it once Spark Operator comes in as well.
Yeah.
Because then we have, because it'll look a little bit less weird than having one extra card row on the bottom, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Say I didn't add a card at this stage since we are also in alpha. So let's say, but
Yeah, that's true.
a good suggestion, because let's say I can make the marking of alpha even the card so that people sort of like if they land on the landing page, they can notice, oh, there is a model registry being developed now. So thank you for the suggestion. It's
It
definitely
will also massively improve your SEO because the Kubeflow.com page has incredibly high SEO. Right.
Yeah, the landing page, you mean? Yeah, I can.
So if it links to another page, it will massively boost whatever pages it links to, right? So
thank you. Let's say usually when I land myself to kubeflow.org, I just go immediately to getting started. So I forgot about that page, but thank you for mentioning. It's definitely something that I can
yeah, maybe don't do it in that PR, just so that we can do it at the same time
Yeah.
as we do Spark Operator, so that it doesn't, so that we can make it kind of balanced. But yeah.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's like it's a bit early now, but definitely something that can happen in the to-do list. Thank you.
Okay,
So you just need people to review that. Is that what you're asking?
Actually, a lot of people already reviewed it over these 2 months, and sort of like I've been trying to sort of like making sure that all sort of like the majority of the comments or the feedback have been addressed. So my request is more to say, unless there is any kind of like vetoes or hard comments, I will prefer for this PR to be merged, and then I can start the work in parallel PRs, like one for the diagram, one like for this card. Let's say I will put it as draft, and so on, so that I'm not kind of like, waiting for the next people who comes on an open PR, and then I start kind of like a subtask on the same open PR, if that is possible.
So are there any more requirements from any of the community in terms of who can give us the go ahead to merge this? That's what we are looking for, I guess.
So I looked at it last night and I felt like there were a couple things that were minor, but might help in. But if you want to move ahead with this as it is,
Josh, your comment I've addressed, or at least I propose a new commits that address your comments from last night. Thank you again, because especially one was a broken link and I completely completely missed that one. So thank you again. But I think that all your comments at least have an answer. Now we can also further iterate on it directly on the same PR or in subsequent one. But let's say at this stage, I will be happy to hear if somebody can merge it. And then let's see whatever else is being pending. Also, feel free to reach out directly to the group or to me in Slack, and then I can make it in the list of bullet points. Because, for instance, Andre had a comment about some maybe doing some expand on the way that you can sort of like use model registry more standalone ways. And definitely it's more to me than just kind of like instruction for installing. That could be something that I need to mention where this will be sensible to do and the boundaries that you might like to set up. But this is something that I feel that can be done in parallel, like adding additional diagrams for all the different milestones, or like, for instance, these new comment of the cards and so on.
So by the way, just a quick question. Can it be used without the rest of Kubeflow right now, or is it not technically possible?
Yeah, it can, because it just
So if you just did the apply manifests in the thing that the way that it says, it would work without SDO and without anything like that?
correct.
Okay. And you've tested running through it on a clean cluster just a couple of times, just with the current state of the docs?
What we have is that the comments, sorry, the comments that are in the docs are the one that are in the GitHub action that uses a can cluster to test that one.
So to be clear, there's a second part, I'm just looking at it right now. It says apply, and then it says like, okay, you can apply the model registry. And then it says something very strange, which I don't understand, which is as default Kubeflow installation provides an SDO mesh, apply the necessary manifest. Does it require SDO or not?
So if you are applying that in Kubeflow, yes. If you are using that in just a straight vanilla Kubernetes, no.
Maybe that should be slightly clearer, because it's what I'm saying is that a user need just a step-by-step instruction. You know what I mean? So what is the steps, right? Like I can see there are two commands here, both of which point to the main of your repo, which I would strongly recommend against doing.
But
That's
there is
very
a
dangerous.
mention that is copied over from, I think, pipelines. And I think that there is a comment in Word that I copied from pipeline that says you might want to change that one for a given tag or a given branch.
So I'd recommend not, if you just give someone a command, don't give them a command that could blow up this cluster if you can.
Okay, so we invert it. It is like to say, hey.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is you can do it, just never have a command that could do indeterminate things on a website. No, because people will copy it and paste it into their terminal, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, Matthew. Is like I think that I copied over from what I saw using in pipeline. So, but if we want,
if pipelines is doing it, I would think we should change that as well. But I don't think they are, right? Are they?
I think that it was the kind of like similar, because I've tried to make it kind of like the similar as possible. So let me just.
Anyway, yeah, like Jan's correct. Let's just talk about it in the PR.
Okay.
But anyway, the people who can merge it are the steering committee. There's the only people who are able to add new sections to the website.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
You can tag them with Kubeflow/Kubeflow steering committee also.
So I already approved it, Josh. If you don't have any concerns, we can just move forward and address the rest in the following PRs.
I think that makes sense. Let's keep going. Thanks for the documentation. It is very important, as Matthew has highlighted. It's one of the places that we get a lot of feedback from the community that we need to improve the docs. So I appreciate how hard it is, Matteo, to get it written, and how hard it is to get all the edits in, and then to finally get it over the line. And so thank you, right, for doing this. And we do need to get it posted. So let's get it done. All right, let's move on to KubeCon. Amber.
Yeah, so we're not going to be able to have a standalone event. I forget how many requests they had for co-located events, and they've combined ours and they've combined two others. So we're not going to have it won't be called Kubeflow Summit. It'll now be called Cloud Native plus Kubernetes AI Day. The CFP is open. I put the link to the page there, and the CFP is open until July 14th. If you want to be part of the steering committee or the speaker proposal review committee, whatever they're calling it. I think there's also a link on the page where you can submit to be part of that. So there is that. And if anyone feels like we need a standalone event, let me know, because we could definitely work on that for next year and maybe have a Kubeflow summit that's standalone, and then we'll participate in the at KubeCon as well. So just kind of think about that and let me know. But that's where we're at on that. And what is the dates on that? It's hold on one second. Link. It is November 12th is when that will be in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Did you get any information whether it's possible to attend remotely this time?
I don't think it will be. They're not set up to do that.
So to be clear, do you need to have a ticket to the main event to go?
I don't think so, but you'll just have to go to the website and register and see what it says. I don't think that you do, but
So
some people
I don't
just
think there's a
some
place
people
to
just
register, is there?
yeah, some people just attend the co-located events. They don't attend the whole of. Let me look right quick.
I think it looks like you do have to.
Anyway, you can go to the site and see, and I'll update the notes once I find out. So.
Cool.
But yeah. And if you go to that link, you'll be able to also get back to the main event link and the registration and all that. Also, I think they're gonna hold, so we can have one like project update slot. And so I'm gonna go ahead and submit that proposal for one update for the whole of the project. And I'll probably be reaching out to everyone who's going to be there who might be a working group lead, so that we can make sure we have all the right people and all the right information to give a kind of state of Kubeflow talk. So if you're interested in helping submit that proposal, let me know. We'll schedule something. This week's a short week. Next week's a short week too, but because of Memorial Day weekend in the US. But if we can't meet this week, we can meet early next week, after Monday, and put something together. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me on Slack so I can make sure that I submit it correctly with all the right people. And also take a look at the call for proposals and submit your own proposal as well.
And for the proposals, that's that link you have there, the
Yes.
Cloud Native Kubernetes AI Day, right?
Correct. You'll see a link. I think there's a button on the page, but also to the left of the page, there's a submit a proposal.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We should probably do the Spark operator now, Josh. Oh, Josh, you muted.
Also, one other thing, because I've been out, I think some of you knew I was having some issues with my voice, and I'm catching up on all the social media posts. If I've missed posting something, please reach out to me on Slack as well, so I can get everything promoted this week that I might have missed out on promoting. So.
Oh, perfect. I'll reach out to you on Slack. That's for Kubo.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I got, Josh.
Fantastic. Thanks, Amber. How is everything going for the Spark operator?
Yeah, I can quickly speak for this. Yeah, hi everyone. So yeah, we hosted the first Spark operator community call on Friday. It was great. Thanks again, Vara, Chavran, for driving this. Then we have around 20 to 28 attendees there. We're planning to publish recording on YouTube once we have access to the channel. This was extremely successful. We see a lot of interest from other companies like Pinterest, for example. They're willing to contribute some of their Spark operator capabilities on upstream. if the community supports it. And also, like, we see some other involvement from large organizations which are using this Spark operator in production. Yeah, so I think like the next step would be, if you want to get involved, reach out to the Kubeflow Spark operator Slack channel, or reach out to me directly. I can help you to tell like what you can do and how you can help. Right now, we are looking for people who can help Chauran and Vara to triage issues, especially since we have around 498 open issues and 67 open PRs, because this repo hasn't been maintained for a while. We want to ask community who want to be involved to help us to triage them and maybe review some of the PRs and answer some open issues on the GitHub. And the next step would be to make the first release, transfer the docs to the kubeflow.org, and move forward to the next steps there as well. Yeah, any questions?
Andre, I've got one. Since you're asking for help in specific areas, do you want to send me over a little blurb so I can put that out on social media that we're
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I can definitely. So I know Vara already posted this blog post announcement for the Spark Operator launch, but I can like list you the list of the tasks that we might need to help with.
Yeah, that way I can kind of seed it along on a couple posts. That's all. And I'll go ahead and link to the main blog post this afternoon. But all the other specific things we can do, little posts each week to keep, have some new content. So
Yeah, I agree.
thank you.
All right, YouTube.
Okay, Kim, so who needs access to it? So what we'll do is we'll be giving people access to the ability to upload videos but not delete them. Currently all videos are currently unlisted. I guess there's two things we need to decide then. Let's just write a list of them. The first one is, so to do, who needs access to upload meeting recordings. So we got someone, Mateo's asked to have access, that's fine. And then we need to decide, okay, so when we upload the recordings, going to do them unlisted or publicly listed, or is there any preference from people?
My suggestion is to make a playlist for each working group.
So that's what we've done. We've definitely done that.
Mm-hmm.
But do we want to make them public?
Yes, we do, because it is separate YouTube channel, right? Not like the main one.
Yes, also what I did is to just clear out the old channel, I did set all of the other videos to unlisted on the channel as well, because there was a lot of brand specific videos from the old owners of the channel. So I unlisted those. So currently the only things when you go to the website, go to the channel is this. I'll just link it in the channel, in the chat, sorry. We need to decide the name as well. That's the other thing we need to do. Because we can only rename it once, really. So we need to recordings. Will they be public or unlisted? So I guess this is the question for like privacy questions as well, right? Like it doesn't stop it if it's just unlisted. Obviously, people can still index it, but it does mean it's a bit less likely that meetings like the one we're in right now get just randomly stumbled across. So I guess, Josh, what's your perspective on that? And then also, what should we call the channel? Kubeflow community is my vote, but
I think Kubeflow community as a channel name is okay. Is that hyphenated or one word or two words?
just one word. So I'll see if I can get it. I don't know if it's taken already, but Kubeflow community. We'll see if I can get that.
Okay.
If not, then we can find something else. So the other question is, so when you're talking about public, so Josh, how do you feel about these videos? Because like the last 250 videos, I'm not going to change the status of them. You know what I mean? Of these ones. But like, should we start uploading these recordings with public? What that means? So the only difference is that unlisted videos don't get suggested in recommendations in YouTube recommendations, whereas they can still be accessed by anyone, but just they don't get recommended. So I mean, this is a question for the community. Like, the only reason we did unlisted initially was just because there was no real reason to do it less public, because it would very quickly dominate all the Kubeflow search results in YouTube. I mean, maybe that's what we want.
I mean, these are public meetings. Why wouldn't we want the recordings to be public?
Well, and it's more like it's a question of they are public. Like anyone who knows to find them can get them, like in the docs. But do we want to make it so that anytime you type the word Kubeflow into YouTube in Google, you'll get these meetings? You know.
I guess why wouldn't we want it to be discoverable? Because we do want to grow the community and we do want more interest and we do want people bringing their expertise and don't we want to be discoverable?
I mean,
I guess we
would
should also
love,
then decide how they're named.
yeah, I would love to have any distribution or videos with Kubeflow and NVIDIA, for example, being live. I don't know if that's a good place, but that I would like to have that.
When you say live, we don't live stream anything currently. What do you mean?
No, I mean, as part of the videos and being discoverable.
Oh, okay. It
Just
would
be able
make
to
it
post
slightly
it.
easier.
Yeah, just be able to
I mean, you can
post it
still
and
do
make
that
it work.
already. You can still do that already, but it would be to an unlisted video, yeah.
I see.
So
I mean, okay, so I guess the main thing is about naming the video correctly then, probably, right?
So I agree with Amber. We should make them public, similar to Kubernetes working group batch, serving, SIGs. Also, I think like we should make a, the naming, we should maybe name them with the meeting name. Like, I was naming my meetings for the last 3 years, which is Automl Training Community Call. Model registry, we can make them in the model registry playlist. For Spark Operator, we can name in the Spark Operator playlist, right? For the name of the video, we can definitely find agreement. But like I can propose my ideas, like what I've been following since 2021 of March.
So I guess that's the other question. Do we want me to change the state of the existing recordings from unlisted to listed?
If it is easy to do, you can definitely do it, Matthew. Like I don't see any problem with that.
It will definitely show that the community's been very active for a long time. That probably would help the channel, But this does mean that everything you've ever said will come back to haunt you.
And the question is how up to date the information in the videos is.
So that was actually my main concern about making them unlisted, making them public, right? Which is that there are videos from years ago.
Well,
Then
maybe we
they
can
might
start
do
with
too
the
much
latest.
confusion.
Well, maybe we can start with latest videos only. I mean, the last 10 or something like that.
Do we see any problems? Do we see any problems to show these videos from 2020? I mean, we still have an archive from even 2018, right? In 2019. This meeting have some useful information from my perspective for especially new folks to understand like how community was like, evolving in the last 6 years, even 6.5 years, right? Sometimes it's worth to see like what decisions were made like a while ago, what is decision we're doing right now. So from my personal perspective, I think we should make at least these videos listed.
I mean, it's still like, 300 hours of content, right? So it's no way that anyone's going to watch it. But
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
an AI might, but not a human.
And I think too, one of the other things is Matthew, I'll be reaching out to get access as well, but the stats on that, because one of the most interesting things too is if somebody goes back and say we see an uptick of a video from 2 years ago, which has happened in other communities, we need to go back to that video and see what it is about that's becoming popular again. So I think it's better to have everything out in the public for a whole host of reasons, but mostly for transparency and discoverability, and for that historic piece of it.
I agree that they should be public. I just wonder about the existing ones. I think we should probably just do it, make them all public. But yeah. Okay, so I think the main thing we need to decide is just for everyone we give access to be able to upload videos, we just need to set the standard for the names. So like, and then like description should be a link to your Google Doc with notes.
And I think also we should put like what the tags should be. We should have-
Yeah, I actually, yes, it's a good point. I added tags for my meetings also. I added the thumbnail for meetings, but
Yeah.
this thumbnail has AutoMelon training working group, so we can modify it for whatever, you know.
Yeah, I haven't ever done thumbnails because again, the videos have never been public on mine. But if you have a thumbnail and you want to bulk upload the existing ones, that would be fine as well.
But I think maybe it would be nice if you can share the next step on the issue. Maybe we can discuss there what we should do, and I can share
Do you
some.
have the issue link?
Yes.
In any case, so the main thing is people who need YouTube access, let's make a channel on the Slack and so we can discuss it there, like a secret one. So who's the initial people? So Amber, Mateo, and Andre. Anyone else?
Yeah, I posted in the document, Julius as well.
And you people add your own things there. Add your own emails, and I can add you pretty easily.
Are you gonna create the channel, Matthew? Or do you want me
No, it's
to?
already a thing. It's a channel
Oh.
with 300 videos on it already.
Oh, not I'm talking about the Slack channel.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I don't mind who does it. I can make it pretty quickly if you want.
And we think it should be a private Slack channel?
Definitely private to begin with, just because it's only relevant to people
Okay.
who are. It won't be used very long. It'll just be used to establish the rules and then probably close.
So I'll just call it YouTube, community YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll do that right quick.
Cool. Okay, Josh, we can probably move on. Jan had something he wanted to say, I think.
Yeah, by the way, regarding the YouTube recordings, I think we are also missing the recordings from April 30th.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I've been a bit busy, but I can upload them today.
Okay, it's all right. Maybe it's also related to the next topic I'm going to talk about. So this was brought up at the steering committee meeting, and we'd like to collect feedback on the current format of the community meetings, especially around like whether we should split the meeting into different meetings that have different focuses, and the meeting frequency and length. And we also need some sort of rotations among more volunteers to help host and moderate the meetings. And for example, they can also help with the uploading the recordings too. Yeah, just something to be discussed. I did post a link to the issue, GitHub issue. Feel free to leave a comment. Any feedback and suggestions are appreciated. And we're also looking for volunteers to host and moderate the meetings. So if you're ever interested, please comment on the issue as well.
Also, so I still think we do need a community meeting of some kind. I think it would be dangerous to not have an actual just general community meeting. But we already do have meetings that are specific to each component. Are you talking about those as a separate thing?
So
Or?
let me just give you a little bit of context. Like, so we discussed this with Stefano. That's what we think, and maybe what we can propose is to make this meeting more like kind of user oriented, and maybe even have a one meeting for office hours when developers, you know, steering committee working groups have like some sort of the organizational discussions, and one meeting will where users and actually can speak up and give demos, you know, speak about their use cases, why they want to use Kubeflow, why they don't want to use Kubeflow, what is the current problems they have, right? So I think the main motivation is here to, first of all, give more voice to the users to grow the community. And the second motivation is to probably the people who managing the calls, usually not the people who are actually speaking about use cases. So I can give you a specific example, like in 2018 and 1910, Michelle was hosting some of these meetings, and they just monitoring checking like time slots, make sure that we actually up to like we maintaining the agenda, following the script. and giving the voice for every person during the call, right? And I'm talking about like giving the time frames for every topics, right, to discuss. So the main motivation is to make these meetings more structured, and in the same time thinking about how we can organize them to grow the community and show more demos, what people are doing right now, what community want to get from the Kubeflow, right, developers.
I mean, I would love those things, but we have to have people who are willing to actually do them.
Yes, so like I already asked for volunteers from CNCF, maybe someone who can. So we have a few things, right? So we need to first of all, think about the structure of those meetings, create the proposal. Maybe Stefano can drive it. He's busy right now, but when he has time, maybe he can also drive it. And we want to, ask the community for volunteers, like specifically who can just follow the script that we can give you, right? Just following the time slots, and then evolve it, right? So, does it make sense?
I mean, I just think the main thing is that like if we choose to add a new meeting, like so we make this one for developers, we have like a developer meeting, maybe every second week, and then maybe we alternate between users and developers each alternate week, and like then we still have to have everyone agree to come, otherwise it'll just be a bunch of users with no one who can help them.
I-
So it just sounds like that this is a good idea. We maybe need to put some structure around it and find volunteers, but I don't think that anything like Wick said, those are valid concerns, but I don't think those are blockers, right? I think we can find
Well, I mean,
volunteers.
it's a
I think
hard
we can
blocker
grow
if no
this.
one is willing to actually step up and support the users as part of that meeting.
I don't
Right, so
think
that's a big if, and we don't know if that's true yet, right? So our hypothesis is that no one will join, right? But I think we can go look for volunteers and build this and develop it, and it might not happen overnight. But let's go look and see, we might be pleasantly surprised by who wants to get engaged. And this is another way for people to get involved that might not know how to.
exactly, because I think in its current structure, I think that it's very confusing to new people. And if we had an agenda that said like, release, no, like where people are showing up and like release updates 7 minutes, KubeCon 2 minutes, like whatever, like we kept to an agenda. I don't think, Andre, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you were saying that we needed to do away with the community meeting. You were saying maybe add maybe an office hours in addition to where we can dive into things where we don't necessarily dive into it, right? Where this isn't the meeting to dive into the details. This is the meeting to get information at.
I mean, all of the so yes. So I think the main motivation is to again to grow the community, to give a voice for our users, and to make them speak up on these calls rather than us discussing, different like organizational things, right? Which requires like steering committee attention and other topics, right? Which we can do like an alternative week if we need to, every Tuesday, every second Tuesday, for example, right?
But it
Yes.
might,
Go ahead,
giving
Chase.
people more calls, more ways to speak up versus these are kind of big calls and they're recorded. And, if we have more ways where people can maybe speak up in smaller groups and then bring them to these calls, and also have these calls be more tactical where we kind of go through our schedule versus kind of discuss and preamble, and we have a separate kind of avenue for that. I think that'll help people that want to just get an update on Kubeflow, hit these calls, and if they want to go into deeper discussions or whatever, they can branch out.
Anyway, I guess we should discuss that on the issue.
I agree. Let's just submit the
Magic to my
proposal.
ears.
Yeah, and if anyone like want to help us and want to help Stefano with this, that would be really nice. Let me know. I can contact you with him to start his proposal.
Okay, Josh. So there's a separate section. This isn't quite the end. I split them off into their own website. So the Google Analytics for the blog, I haven't reached out to them yet, but I should do that. So we can get that added. But for the most important update is that one that Andre has been working on, and everyone else has been working on as well. I know that it's not quite ready to merge yet, but Andre, the one thing I just want to say is I still think we need to have if we're not going to have 2 pages, we need to have at least 2 clear headings for the 2 types. You know what I mean? Like all the comments that I made, that was the main one I really am concerned about. I'll write it in the issue again, but just to say it verbally, I think it's really important that we have one section which says standalone and one section which says platform, and then under platform there should be 2 options, which is distributions and manifest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got your point. Like we discussed this on the steering committee call. We're not sure if I mean, we should do it right now. I mean, maybe like
Which
John or
part?
Yuan, you can speak up for this. Maybe James, you also on the call.
For what part specifically you're referring to?
Like
Not now,
basically
sorry.
to initially to have introduced another section, the package distribution and the raw manifest under Kubeflow platform, right?
Oh no, so that's the other way around. So like I'm more saying if we keep it on one page, like you said before, right, that's fine. But just I think it's important that as the PR currently stands, it needs to have slightly more clear headings. Like that's all I'm saying. Like so, and the proposal I made in my proposed commits was having 2 H2 sections, one called standalone and one called platform, Kubeflow platform. And then under that, you have no options for standalone. You just have the list of the table. And then under the platform, you have, because then what it lets you do is it lets you introduce them a little bit with just 1 sentence preamble. I'll raise a PR.
Okay.
I'll put it on the issue that explains what I'm trying to say. But I think it's pretty straightforward. Like it's just a structural thing. It's not a content thing. Yeah. Is anyone else got any other ideas? If not, then we should I think we should just try and get that merged in the next like month. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's going to be merged tomorrow, and I don't think it should be merged tomorrow yet because there's just so much discussion on it. But
so looking for the comments, like it's only like Matthew, I guess like only you have the open comments on this structure, right? I already addressed the Josh suggestions and other folks' suggestion.
well, I've been letting other people write comments first. I don't want to be spamming you, but
we can merge it because it's been a while and
I don't think we
reviewed
can merge
by
it quite
many
yet.
folks.
I still think I've shown a bunch of users it. I've worked directly with users to show it, and a lot of them have been very confused. And like the problem that they said is that what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, and we're explaining this on the introduction section. So
But they don't want to do that. They were like, "That's too much words." They literally said that in that exact words. They're like, I don't want to click to do that. But again, the key thing we can do to improve it is just add one heading. Literally, just add one heading, which is Kubeflow platform, and then under there have the Kubeflow platform is X, which is what I proposed on my comment, with 1 sentence. Because it helps, because otherwise we're kind of violating the whole thing we were trying to say, right? Which is that we agree that maybe these should be 2 different pages, but yet we're not actually even splitting the sections of the 2 different potential pages on the page. Like
no, but we're saying, yeah, I know over time, sorry about it. Like if others needs to drop, feel free. But I just want to say last thing, we kind of like say install Kubeflow platform and installing Kubeflow component standalone, right? So we're just making this as in the header to explain
But
the
people
difference.
don't like that's not how people view pages though. Like what I'm saying is like the heading titles still need to be shorter. Like they're still too long. And it's just the headings. Like literally the thing I care about is the headings because they help people browse the page. And like the sections which I think make the most sense are just having standalone as the top section if you want it at the top, then having packaged, not packaged, then having platform, and then under platform having packaged and manifest. Because right now it's not clear from the structure alone that the package distributions are the same as the manifest.
I don't think these are blockers to
I think they
merge
really
that
are. Like
together.
I've shown users the page and they're like, I'm more confused by this. Like,
Okay, anyone else who are also confused?
I'm not confused personally,
Please
but I
speak
don't
up.
like the way it looks personally either. But what I'm saying is, I think it will hurt people's ability to get the platform installed.
Yeah, I'm just curious if other people have similar feedback. If not, I don't think it's a blocking comment.
Most people have left the meeting, but
But
it's
it's also something we could iterate on. We could go ahead and merge it and then just iterate.
I'm
Like,
still kind of uncomfortable with the update. Like, and I really think distributions need to okay it. And I haven't seen any distributions okay it yet.
I think we got confirmation from James and Jono here on the
Yeah,
call.
I agree with you on that. The thing is, unless users raise the opinion that it is a blocker,
Well, users
unless
aren't going to be looking at pull requests.
see, I think we have to get to some point, right, where we have to we can, as we discussed, we can reiterate. So at some point, we have to agree and go forward. And
Can
if
we
there
agree
are
that we can, like, how about we give ourselves one more week then, where we can discuss things and we say to everyone on the distributions, this will be merged in a week unless you say something as a distribution. Because right now, like, we haven't got confirmation from the people who are selling Kubeflow.
Amber,
what
go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, can we put something out on Kubeflow Discuss, LinkedIn, and X, and tell people this is what we're gonna do, and get feedback? Maybe create just a quick, simple 5-question form or just a free form for them to put any feedback to us or anything like that. And because this week is a short week and next week is a short week, in the US, can we push it out to the following week and then make the decision? So if we can get
Wouldn't
something out tomorrow to the community and then make the decision week after next.
I think we should A/B test this, or at least get confirmation from the distributions again, like the people who are commercially interested. Like, because it feels like you're trying to force something through that is going to hurt the distributions.
Well, do we have the names and email addresses for all the distribution owners? If so, we can write this up, we can send it to them, we can get feedback, and then go ahead and do what we need to do based on the feedback. It's a two-way street. We might be waiting on them to comment and maybe they're not seeing it. So we need to
Also,
reach.
please add my notebooks distribution and notebooks warning, right? Like that's not just coming from me, that's coming from the notebooks working group. Either remove the note about the notebooks because it's wrong, or make it the one that I wrote.
Sure, that's a detail, but what I'm saying is,
Oh no,
can
what
we,
I'm saying is like right now it's actually got incorrect information. Sorry, I'm just saying to Andre.
well, but what I'm saying is, in order to get the feedback that we think we need, can I work with, I'll be happy to work with somebody this afternoon or tomorrow, get something out on Kubeflow Discuss, get it out on LinkedIn, get it out on X, and then if I have the email and name and an email for all the distros, I can send them a link to that, ask them for their feedback, and that gives us the rest of this week, the rest of next week. Then at the community meeting, I can present that information, and then y'all can take it from there and decide what happened.
I mean, like we just want feedback from distributions is the primary thing. Users are also helpful, but sometimes they can be a bit unclear about what they want.
You just said you talked to users and you got
Oh, I
feedback,
have. But
but
like what I'm saying is they just know that it doesn't work. They don't know why.
And who are they?
I can't list company names, but they're companies, like really big people who represent the DevOps teams at big companies.
Yeah, if they can't speak up, this is an open source project, right? They can speak anytime, and if they don't want to do that, that's up to them, and we'll just do our own things. We'll make our own decisions.
I fully agree there. This is an open source project. It is an open PR. This has been open for some time. They can come to this issue, put their concerns, getting to them. And if they are not aware of it, that's a different question, right? And I agree with Amber, like we can get all the Kubeflow discussed, for example, but that's a different question. But if they cannot speak up, there is nothing that community can do.
So the only people who have commented on this PR are people who have come to this meeting, and it's mostly Julius, myself, and Josh. It's really the only people who have commented on it so far. And
But
Matteo
I think
once at the beginning.
the
So-
whole KC read it and to some degree decided on it already.
Well, no, the
Even though
only decision they made, and I don't really think the KSC should normally wade into this sort of thing. Like they're meant to be like a final authority. But like this just affects everyone. Like all I'm saying is like this, like I'm not saying that we shouldn't update it. I agree we should. But what I'm trying to say is that it is very important that we don't make the situation worse.
So just so I know and can plan, can I just plan on putting something out tomorrow that points back that says, hey, we need your feedback, and then make it what is the 2 Tuesdays from now? And that we'll make a decision on the 4th. We'll decide on the 4th what we're gonna do. So they haven't between now and the 3rd to get back to us.
I mean, the only people who really should, I mean, that we can do that, but I don't know what we'll get from that.
Well, you just said you were talking to users, so we can talk to the distribution, we can put it out to more users, we can make a final push, and then we've done our due diligence, we can all feel good about it, and then we can go forward.
Okay, and so aside that, there's also 2 misrepresentations on the update, and that's what I'm saying. Like, one is that the Notebooks Working Group is claiming that the Notebooks Working Group is doing something that we're not, and it's also claiming that the easiest way to use Kubeflow is using standalone components, which I don't agree with personally.
But
It explicitly says
that's
the
a
easy.
different
This
issue.
isn't. It's like, but I don't agree. Like, and I think that I don't think we should say anything about that at all. You know what I mean? I just like it's a needless statement that is just controversial. It says this is an easier method to get started with the Kubeflow ecosystem, which is also not even a correct verb. Whatever.
So Matt, you're making good points. Let me give you a perspective from me. One, I think that we have had the distributions weigh in because we've had Nutanix, we've had people from IBM, we've had people from Google, from you, from Cubo, other folks who have been in these conversations. So probably the majority of the distributions are aware of this change, right? And they've spoken up on this call about it. So that's number one. Number two is, it's never going to be perfect. And I think that we've kind of brought it to a place where it's functional. It's been reviewed by a lot of folks. I think your claim and in your request for having a second heading is not a bad one. And it actually may be good. As for the last thing that you brought up, the easiest, I don't know. I've gone back and forth. I was ready to argue against myself on that one, but now I think about it again and I'm like, it is the easiest, because you only have one component.
No, but so that's not what it says though.
How
It doesn't
could
say to install one component.
You just talked over me. How could something be easier than, how could 5 components or 6 components be easier than one? It can't. There's no
So,
way.
the thing is, I object to the wording.
Matthew, even if you can install it easier, right? You still have to use 5 components versus 1. So I went back and forth on that easier, and I said maybe we should make it simpler, maybe we should use a different term. I understand your concern there. But I think it's true. I think we can honestly stand behind it. I'm a little uncomfortable with it, but so anyway, go ahead.
What I was trying to say was that the wording is the concern. I'm not saying that there isn't something about standalone components which is easier. There is something about it, but the wording implies that the whole ecosystem is easier to use.
Matthew, like one thing that I'm not really getting is, are users really dumb enough to understand what is simpler and what is not? I'm saying, do you think adoption basically happens based on one sentence that we have written in the Kubeflow website? Like
Anything that gets officially the voice of the project is taken as gospel.
Do you seriously think so in any enterprise world, if that is the
Yes.
case? Someone
If the
has
website says something is better, that's what people are going to try first. And what it should say instead is not that it's not easier, but that if you just want one component, this is the easiest way.
No. So we haven't said better, right? We said easier, right? Easier is different from better.
Those are kind of the same thing.
No, that's not same.
I know that you might not see them as the same, but users do.
Who do you call as a user here, right? Like I'm really confused.
But people just do the simplest path. Like even if we forget about specific people, like if the website says that's easier, well, guess what? They're going to try. They're going to try that first, which is fine. But we should be clear that the reason they should try it is because they just want one component. As soon as they start wanting more than one component, or, and this is where I come back to the misrepresentation, that it should be clear that there's a difference between the platform version and the standalone version. Like pipelines does not support multiple namespaces as a standalone component. Like when a user, the thing that the user said to me specifically, or the couple of users that have said to me, is that they're like, okay, what is the difference?
We express, sorry, Tjash, I see your hand. We express the difference in the introduction page clearly, right? What are the differences between standalone components and the platform, right? If we should improve pipelines doc to explain that don't support multi-tenancy as a standalone, we should improve the pipelines docs, similar to other components, right? Tjash, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, instead of just saying, easier or difficult or things like that, why don't we, focus on the kinds of users we are targeting, right? So it could be like, oh, if you're a beginner user and you want to, try multiple components, this is where you could start. Or if you're a more experienced user, then and you want, if you're interested in a particular component, then this is where you start, right? It doesn't have to be, we don't have to make a value judgment on, what's easier or what's difficult and stuff, right? We just target the kind of user.
So that is actually what we say at the beginning of that paragraph. We say some components in the Kubeflow ecosystem may be deployed as standalone services without the need to install the full platform. You might integrate these services as part of your existing AI or ML platform or use them independently. And then this is where the problematic paragraph starts. This is an easier method to get started with the Kubeflow ecosystem, since these components don't require additional management tools used in the Kubeflow platform, in a Kubeflow platform, which again is a weird verb again.
Yeah, so the easier word there might, lead beginner users down that path. So I agree with that, so that's why I was saying, maybe reword it in such a way that, you say, well, if you're interested in a specific component, then this is where you go down without, again, using words like easier or harder. And,
So,
say,
yeah. And just to address Tjara's point, like I also discuss with users and with especially developers, and the problem that they see, because they get blocked on the installation, they just never come back to the community and never contribute and never be part of the Kubeflow for the long term. And to drop this barrier and to get them, something working, something very simple, right? Train a model, right? Surf a model, do something actually work. That is why we really try to explain, to force them to use this as an initial step, rather than to understand what is, what is the management tools, what is multi-tenancy, what is like Kubernetes even, right? They just want to have something working initially. And of course, if they want to build a production system, then they need to like see, should I come to distribution? Should I come to raw manifest? Should I build, my own set of the Kubeflow components using the ecosystem and our reference architecture that we provide as the community? So over the years, many users, we just lost them because they just get blocked on the installation phase. And I agree, for the long-term distribution probably will solve this problem, but it won't actually help the users to get something very simple to work on, because they don't need distribution to have something to work on, right? Initially.
But what are you arguing for here?
I'm just saying, like, I think from my perspective, like, as Tiraj said, like to get started here, that is why we want to say that this is like the easier method to get started. Like we don't say this is the easier method to use Kubeflow, like to get started with the ecosystem, right? Because Kubeflow platform is just another product of the broader Kubeflow ecosystem that our community is developing. Does it make sense?
Kubeflow is too hard to try out for most people. I think that's a pretty even statement for people. 80% of the people use Kubeflow pipelines. Let's start off with the easiest thing that gives the most value, which is Kubeflow pipelines.
Yep.
But
Julius,
there's
go
a chance that the thing that makes Kubeflow pipelines valuable is the multi-user support.
They'll figure that
Yes.
out after they do the install and see that they can get it working. I think that it's a chicken and the egg thing. If we try to teach them, 7 different components, they're going to get lost. That's my biggest concern. And the number one thing, and it always has been, is Kubeflow pipelines. So if we're going to use data as the way that we make our decision about what comes first and what we want people to try first, and what should be the easiest, it should be Kubeflow pipelines. I don't think there's any disagreement from the data on that.
And also, as Manifest working group lead, I really try to get people to use the full platform, improve the documentation, all of the stuff. But I also see, yes, it's easier for them if they don't start with the whole platform, with my whole repository there, but if they really start with small components in the end, even though I would like them to use the Manifest README and our distribution and install the full platform, that's not really, at least from my personal observation, that's not what's happening.
Yes, because that's the main goal of all of these, just show the value of the Kubeflow, right? Show like the value of machine, like how it helps people to do machine learning on Kubernetes, right?
So
like
if you
go
want
ahead.
my support, can we just change the headings? Like, can we just change the headings and remove the incorrect representations, and then I'll be happy to say I'm okay with it. Like, I'm happy with everything else except saying the notebooks working group is doing something that we're not. I don't think it should say easiest. I could just say, if we just remove the word easier and say this is a method to get started quickly or something, like just remove the word easier. It's too strong of a word. And then I'll be happy.
Maybe use less complex also, because
that's
it's
also
less
too
component.
positive. Like it's more like this is a quick way, not the or best or anything like that. Just saying a quick way to get started with the Kubeflow ecosystem.
We can say quick way. I mean, Josh.
It's not making a comparison.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. A quick way to get value, right?
To get value, yeah. To get value of the, yep.
Yeah, to see
value starts becoming like a marketing term though, and I don't know how well people receive to that. But
so from my perspective, like users will not make decision to stay or not stay with the community if we make some some not accurate words here. They will make decision based on their evaluations of the specific components, right? And see if these components actually will give any value, right? If pipelines actually make sense for them, if training operator will give them any value, or any other components, right? My personal perspective, I think we just right now like too focusing on the wording here rather than focusing on the value for the end user.
So yeah, and that's fine, but I just think the word easier says better to most people. And that's problematic for distributions.
But again, I mean, unless we really show the value of these components.
But that doesn't change the fact that, okay, like you can say that all you want, but like the fact is that the people contributing the most to the project are the distributions. Like, and they should be, and also users want distribution, but that's not the point. All I'm trying to say is that don't make value comparisons in this case, because easier implies better. That's all I'm saying.
But then, I mean, Martin, at that point, we should remove advanced users from raw manifest, right?
Well, no, advanced users, but that is actually That's not a value. That doesn't say better or anything. It just says if you're an advanced user, you should use this.
No, but why are we endorsing the users if they need to be advanced to use Raw manifest?
Because advanced users do exist.
But I mean, okay, but what is the difference between like telling them that it's easier method and telling them this is for advanced
One is a
users?
value. One is a value statement. One is saying like if you are new to the project, do this. Another one is saying here are the facts. You know, this is not the easiest way to do it. Make your decision carefully on these basis, right? Whereas I think the thing that makes the standalone components valuable is actually how quick they are, not how easy they are. Because I'm actually not sure that it's correct to say easier. Because just because you can deploy it easily doesn't mean that you can use it easily.
I don't understand your logic on that one, Matthew, because how can 5 components be easier to use than one?
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, the contrapositive doesn't have to be true.
That's
The
exactly
contrapositive
the
doesn't have to be
argument.
true.
That's exactly the argument. Okay. We overwhelm them with, oh, you got to learn training. Oh, you got to learn tuning. Oh, you got to learn serving. Oh, you got to. No, just go the number one thing that people have seen the most value with, which is pipelines. It's the number one thing people have picked from the very beginning. You can't argue with that.
Okay, but that's not the argument I'm saying when I say to remove the word easier. I'm not saying that using Kubeflow pipelines
Let's
isn't a
just get
good.
rid of the word easier, put in the second thing, and let's get done with this. We spent way.
Okay, then yeah, and so that's my only request. And my other request is the headings. Like I think that it's weird to put the word installing Kubeflow again because there's two H2 headings, and I think we should just make it the separate section for the platform, just so that and then we can remove the word platform from the package distributions and from the manifest headings because they become too long.
But we can't say install Kubeflow from package distribution.
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying package distributions of Kubeflow, which is still the same thing.
But we can't say package distribution of Kubeflow. We can say
Why
only
can't we?
package. Because like it is not Kubeflow, it's the Kubeflow platform. As we
Well,
said,
no, but it is
sometimes
Kubeflow
there
as
is
well.
no.
I think that's semantic, right? That's
No,
semantic.
it's so we need to be really clear that this is for Kubeflow platform, not for Kubeflow, because you cannot install Kubeflow.
If
Kubeflow is
it's under a Kubeflow platform heading, though, who's going to misinterpret that?
no,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
mean, like, in any case, we cannot say Kubeflow in the heading. This is my main point there. We can say package distribution and raw manifest if you want to add them under installing Kubeflow platform, but we cannot add Kubeflow in the naming, like in the header. Like this is like what Julia said and what I said before in the comments, right? So we shouldn't confuse people that you can actually install Kubeflow, right?
Okay, I don't know what you're saying here, but what I'm saying is structurally the page should just have a section called Kubeflow platform and Kubeflow standalone components. Those should be the two headings.
Yeah, that is fine. And I mean, okay. So can you
I
provide?
don't really care about anything else. I just want those two headings to be the core headings on the page. Literally, that's all I'm asking, just so that it's clear that those are the two options.
Okay, but then we will remove like the subheadings for package distribution or raw manifest, making them just introduction for the sections.
Well, they could also just say package distributions and raw manifests.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's fine, right? That's literally what I'm asking for. Because the reason I'm asking for that is just so that we can have that distinction, which is that there are two options. I'm sorry to belabor this point. It's just like right now it's still not clear to a brand new user that there are two completely distinct pathways here, that two of which are the same and one of which is not.
Okay, can you provide the comments for notebooks?
Yeah, those 3 points. Those are literally, and then I'll GTMing it. Okay, like those, it's like the headings, the notebooks thing, the easier. That's all I'm asking.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Matthew. Thanks, everyone. I also need to drop. So see you next week. See you soon.